Good evening and welcome to Thai PBS English News Service. I'm Suwachon Klinswan. Now, following yesterday's failure of Suvarnabhumi Airport's radar system, the Ministry of Transport's ad hoc investigation team will find out what actually happened in the next 15 days. Meanwhile, tour operators are saying that this will have a negative effect on the country's tourism industry. When Aerothai's radar system went down for half an hour yesterday afternoon, at least 50 planes waiting to land at Suvarnabhumi were forced to remain in a holding pattern before they could land. Lawsuits from the airlines are likely to be issued against the AOT, which controls airports in this country. 6 aircraft decided to land at U-Tapao Airport in Rayong instead, which is a 3-hour drive from Bangkok. 2 landed in Phuket, an 11-hour drive away from the capital, and 2 in Chiang Mai, a 7-hour drive away. 3 aircraft made a U-turn and went back to their departure points, 2 to Malaysia and 1 to Cambodia. One of Qatar's planes was stuck in a holding pattern in Suvarnabhumi airspace for 71 minutes. The transport minister has called for a probe into the fault and wants answers to what went wrong within 15 days. Initial reports were that there was an electricity failure and the power backup system failed to operate. The Thai Tourism Association is also worried that this incident will have a negative effect on Thailand's tourism industry. However, the AOT point to fault at Aerothai as they are responsible for air traffic control in the airways above Thai airports. There were reports that the reason some pilots decided not to circle in the skies above Suvarnabhumi was the fear of collision with other planes. And passengers flying out of Suvarnabhumi Airport are being advised to come to the airport 4 hours before departure time to ensure that they do not miss their flight, partly due to the renovation of the east runway. Yet the main reason for flight delays is the excessive number of passengers swamping the airport's official procedure requirements.
It has been about a week since Suvarnabhumi Airport closed 2,000 meters, or almost half the east runway, to repair the damage from 6 straight years in service. The AOT, which oversees Thai Airport, says the runway closure is not a big deal, reporting that the closure only contributes an average of 20 minutes delay per passenger flight. Most delays are due to the ground service, including customs and immigration. Yet, the AOT says the cargo flight experienced no delay problem due to the advance notification to avoid the traffic congestion. This international airport serves more than 120 airlines, contributing to some 600 flights per day. The closure for repair of the east runway since June 11th leaves only the west runway to service all 600 inbound and outbound flights per day. Moreover, the ground service is also causing delays, averaging 30 minutes per passenger. However, some periods see passenger processing delays as long as 3 hours. One other reason for the delay is that Suvarnabhumi Airport is being overwhelmed by 50 million passengers this year, while the earlier estimates were for only 45 million per year. The closure of a runway for renovation will end on August 9th. Some airlines are asking passengers to load their luggage 4 hours in advance of their published departure time. Immigration, taxiways, and baggage claim are the most overburdened processes causing delays.
We're still on airports. NASA's threat to cancel a study-based project at U-Tapao Airport if the government cannot give approval by Tuesday has not forced the Thai government to rush to judgment on the issue. Prime Minister Yingluck indicated that the government will not take any action until all concerned sectors approve the idea. Following NASA's request for the Thai government's permission to set up a study based on regional climate conditions at U-Tapao Airport in Rayong province, the PM insists that while she initially agreed with the project because Thailand will benefit from NASA's project, the proposal still has to be considered and approved by every related agency. She also assigned the Council of State to consider whether this issue has to be debated in Parliament or not, as the Thai law states that international treaties require the House's approval. Opposition leader Apisit Vechachiwa says that the government has to reveal all the details of NASA's planned activities on Thai soil, claiming some related departments do not have the same information. Critics say the U.S.'s base might be used to spy on Thailand's neighboring countries. Meanwhile, Air Chief Marshal Sukampol Suwanatat revealed that he is not concerned that the visit of the Chinese Army Chief, General Jing Zhiyuan, was to pressure the government over NASA's activities in Thailand. And Phuket police revealed that they have updated information about the suspects who stabbed and killed an Australian tourist on Wednesday. This new information, however, will likely lead to the arrest of the killers. Police have also hinted that they might be prisoners who were released from prison. Police Colonel Peter Yut Karajedi, Deputy Superintendent of Phuket Police Force, says he cannot yet reveal much information, as this may warn the killers. Yet he insists that police have enough evidence and CCTV footage to lead the authorities to arrest the suspects. Two men on a motorcycle killed 60-year-old Australian Michelle Elizabeth Smith as they tried to steal her purse. Another foreign tourist was stabbed and injured in the attack. Smith's body is scheduled to leave Thailand for Perth tonight, while other Australian tour operators who were traveling with Smith went home since last night. Police are confident the two suspects are recently released. Natural disasters and economic instability across the globe are causing many to be worried about their future. The green economy, based on sustainable development, is becoming of increasing interest to governments and businesses around the world.
The shortage of natural resources and the significant increase in the global population have become hot topics, and green economy, which describes any economic activity which aims to preserve the environment and improve society, appears to be an obvious solution to this growing problem. Despite an unclear central policy on protection of the environment, this food factory in Nakhon Pathom has initiated a green project by itself by turning coconut shells into fuel pellets, which are burned to generate electricity. The Environment Department Director of this factory reveals that the investor themselves will also reap benefit from green economy as their process reduces production costs, and recently the Industry and Energy Ministries are providing incentives for factories to operate in an environmentally friendly way. However, even though a green economy seems to be part of most government stated policy, there is still a criticism that there is little soil of actual implementation, as most developing countries, including Thailand, are more focused on economic growth. The campaign director of Greenpeace Southeast Asia claims that every government has put sustainable development on the national agenda, but is yet not reflected in what the government actually does because they do not appear to have the mechanism required to cope with factories which are still destroying the environment.
Thai government in the past and up until now has been talking a lot about sustainable development or green economic development on the paper or on the policy. But in the realities, government has failed to implement that policy.
The United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development being held in Brazil ends today. The event was intended to encourage every country to be on the same page when it comes to the green economy. While world leaders gather at the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro to discuss the role of green economics at the policy level, it is clear that to really move towards a green global economy, everyone needs to develop a green mindset and change their behavior in ways that will keep things sustainable. Kankarakam, Thai PBS.
Thank you, Kun Kankron. Today, Thailand welcomed the first shipment of 10,000 tablet PCs, which are to be handed out to grade 1 students under the government's one tablet PC per child scheme. More devices will be sent to Thailand by August the 18th, when a total of 400,000 units will have been delivered. Meanwhile, the Education Ministry is preparing to distribute the tablet PCs starting on July the 9th. Shenzhen Scope Scientific Development, the Chinese concessionaire, made its first shipment of 10,000 tablet computers to Suvarnabhumi International Airport today. And the devices are still undergoing customs formalities. These devices will then be stored in a warehouse at Klong Toi before being handed out to schools in alphabetical order starting July the 9th. Grade 1 students in the first education zone of every province will receive the tablet PCs first. And while the government spends billions of baht on procuring tablet PCs for grade 1 students, Thailand's poor standards of education persist. primarily due to the lack of accountability by teachers for students' lack of academic attainment. Here's more from Kun Bandit, Good Bandit.
High budget, low quality is one way to describe the Thai education system. For at least the past 17 years, the Thai education budget has accounted for no less than 20%, or 1/5 of the entire national annual budget. More worryingly, the fact is that in less than 2 decades, the amount of money the government, therefore the taxpayer, you and me, spends on education has more than doubled, increasing from 168 billion baht to over 400 billion. So, it is legitimate to ask why the quality of education in Thailand has failed to improve in line with the increased cost. Poor teaching standards is part of the problem, as is promotion of teachers not for their teaching performance, but for their administrative skills, form filling.
Teachers have to develop a kind of work, academic work, which is similar to dissertation in university, but we came to a conclusion that those kind of work is not really related to the learning of the students.
A study published by the Thailand Development Research Institute, or TDRI, shows that the students' overall actual academic attainment makes up a mere 10% of public school teachers' promotion and salary adjustment criteria. This misguided evaluation method leads to a steady decline in students' performance in the Ordinary National Education Test, or ONET, while the average salary of public school teachers has almost doubled in the last 10 years. The ONET exam, which tasks 8 major subjects and is required of students at 3 critical stages of their education, namely grade 6, 9, and 12, has also been criticized for failing to accurately assess students' learning. This vital test needs a significant review and substantial improvement so that the results may also play a larger part in assessing teachers' performance.
ฉะนั้นการปฏิรูปอย่างแรกเลยเนี่ยคือต้องปฏิรูปที่สถาบันทดสอบทางการศึกษาก่อนนะครับ
The first thing that needs reform is the National Institute of Education Testing Service. In setting a standardized test, we need to know what we want to test the students on, whether it is their understanding, analytical, or memorization skills. After identifying a suitable evaluation methodology, we can then develop an exit exam format that is capable of assessing students' academic performance.
ผลการสอบตัวเอง
Even though the problems causing poor education standards are already identified and the solutions are clear, any reforms are unlikely without direct accountability by the government, especially the Minister of Education.
We do not have consistency in objective. Each minister has his own ideology and his own objective and own political agenda. So once one minister come in, another favorite program will follow. And we have on average one Minister of Education per something like 7 months for the last 14 years.
Experts agree that education reform need not be complicated. The route to better quality teachers, hence a better quality education, is performance-based evaluation systems that hold schools and teachers accountable for students' academic achievements or lack of. Such changes will also help to bridge the performance disparity between so-called premium and inferior schools. Still, without a serious and long-term commitment from Thai politicians, the quality of Thai education will fail to improve and billions of baht of taxpayers' money will continue to be put to waste. But most importantly, we will be failing in our responsibility to our children by allowing them to leave school undereducated and unfit to compete in an increasingly globalized job market, especially once the ASEAN Economic Community becomes a reality in 2015.